Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of New to Weeaboo. This is number 127 for July 24th, 2024. I am Nemesis, and I'm joined by Alcatraz.
Hello.
Yeah, so a couple things. Actually, one thing I should have mentioned last time. I kind of just spaced it, which is kind of surprising considering what it is. Love Live. Aquas, they announced they're doing their final live. They're not going to be performing live after that one anymore. I don't think they've announced the details of it yet, but they've announced they're doing their final concert, essentially.
Oh, no. How could you forget to talk about a Love Live thing? You, of all people.
Don't know. I think it was just because I was half asleep. Because I was running off like less than 2 hours of sleep that day.
Maybe the sadness of it being the end one.
And also
wanted to
that
purge
was
it from
announced
your
like
head.
4 or 5 days prior. That's pretty much it. And on top of that, there was a Switch game they announced a while ago for Nijigaseki, the visual novel, which seems to be somewhat of a sequel to the mobile game, the All-Stars one. But they confirmed finally that it's going to have an English language, so there's that. People were worried about that because apparently the company usually that's developing is to have a history of doing English language translations. But
Are they going to immediately announce its cancellation too?
No. This is not a gacha game. It's a visual novel for the Switch.
Yeah.
Beyond that, they announced just a couple days ago, as of this recording, a remake of Ranma 1/2.
Oh, yeah. I heard about that. That's a big name.
By Mappa.
Oh. God, anything by Mappa now is such a... They
Worry.
do great work, but they get just, like, tortured.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, you're doing another project. Have you learned nothing?
How many are they up to again?
I don't know, but apparently it's going to be this fall for Netflix. And one thing is actually kind of impressive. They got a large chunk of the original voice acting cast back.
Oh, that's cool.
Because what happened with the original one was they kind of did that thing of like the manga was not updating fast enough, so they kind of went off in their own direction.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
And then they also got canceled, and I don't think I actually got any sort of proper ending. So, hey, we'll see how that works out, I guess.
It's a really interesting premise, and it was really popular, so we'll definitely have to see.
Yeah. And the other thing, this is a thing that happened actually shortly after I think it was technically before we released last time, but after we recorded, if I recall correctly. But Crunchyroll disabled their comments on their website. And ratings and stuff because of 2 anime specifically are airing as of right now. Let's see. I'm trying to remember the exact names. I remember one of them was Senpai's and the Tokonoko.
Oh.
That one. Yeah, that one and Twilight Out of Focus. Those 2 are airing this. And a bunch of people decided to kind of go ahead and brigade the comment section with some very hateful language. Because those two anime have very LGBT themes to them.
Yeah.
Blatantly so. And it's like a bunch of, bigoted morons realize, wait, what? Japan has queer people in it? That can't be right. Well, it must be Crunchyroll's fault, so we better talk about how much we just don't want this sort of thing. And they're very hateful, like lots of copy-paste comments on those, particularly in those 2. And then once I think this initially, I'm not sure if they just disabled just for those 2 specifically, but they disabled comments across the site.
Yeah.
No doubt they're probably going to retool some stuff to possibly...
better spam catching and moderation capabilities if they do re-enable it.
Yeah, because now, of course, every single tweet of theirs they could put out, where are the comments? Bring back the comments. It's like, why do you think the comments are gone? It's just like one of those things is like...
When the kids are destroying their toys because they don't know how to play with them right, you take them away until they learn.
Because it's one of those things, it's like, you really don't watch anime, do you? Because boys' love has been around forever.
Japan is my perfect culture of all white and everyone's the same and nothing is
It's just weird
controversial at all, like,
Of all things now, a boys' love anime showing up upsets them. It's like, do you know how long this genre's been around?
God, BL has been around for ages.
Also, you're messing with the Fujoshi. Do not mess with the Fujoshi. You will not win.
No, please do. I want to see the fallout. I want to see them get wrecked.
So right now the comments are disabled, and I'm pretty sure they'll probably bring them back if they do some original. My thing would be, I'd like, you can't do comments unless you had a premium subscription for a certain amount of time, because that way you actually have to pay money to make a comment, which will put off a lot of people from making multiple accounts.
Yeah, it does. It does help with
It helps a lot right there. And of course, obviously having tools so you can just, stop someone from making comments. If there are problems, just there you go. Look, congratulations. No one can no one can make comments anymore. You can't anyway.
Yeah.
Or funny thing, they can make comments, but no one else can see them, so they're just yelling into the void.
Oh, those are the greatest ones.
They're just yelling into the void. They have no idea why no one's paying attention to them.
Yep, shadow ban basically.
Yeah, that's basically, I would say, just, you can't rate and comment until after you've had your account for so much time. Premium account specifically.
Yeah.
I think, I know some people we call locked out who don't have premium accounts, but I think it's one of those things like, if you don't have a premium account, you're not watching much anyway, because you can't.
Yeah, I'm curious, like, I never use the comment. I never comment on anything, but and I'm curious how common it is. Like, how important is it in the long run? I don't know. I don't use it, so it's not important at all to me.
People talk about the comments are sometimes helpful for like, sometimes because the subs, they've kind of goofed up and they put the anime up, but the subs aren't available yet.
Oh yeah.
So like it takes an hour or so for the subs to actually appear, or like.
Yeah, it can be useful, like if you have stuff like, "Hey, note, this isn't up yet" or whatnot, to really check. So you see, you can look at the comments and go, "Okay, it's not my computer being stupid; it's actually a Crunchyroll problem."
People have comments like, make sure to stay after the credits, type of thing, because some people don't.
Yeah,
so make sure to watch all the way to the end. There's some more after the credits. Oh, thanks.
Don't click the skip credits button. You're gonna miss something because the credits are different this time. Yeah,
just simply don't just assume it's over just because the credits are rolling.
Yeah. I've seen enough things that put stuff after credits that I've already gotten in the habit of not just jumping to the next video.
So I'm not sure when this is going to reinstate it. It might be reinstated by the time this goes live, but that's the state of things right now.
Yes.
I think that's pretty much most of the news for these last few weeks. That I remember, for at least anime-wise.
Because, nothing world changing and country changing happened. And
nothing there. Definitely nothing.
Nothing happened else in
wild
the world.
There. I mean, Johanna had her birthday.
That's important.
That's an international holiday.
That's important, right?
Yeah, it's very important.
Oh yeah, and like completely not anime related at all, but it's the anniversary of the moon landing.
Yeah, about that.
55 years.
Well.
We should watch some space anime again.
There's plenty. So anyway, gonna move on to our actual topic of this particular episode, which is, we're coming back to Hibike Euphonium.
Sound Euphonium.
Exactly. Both the OVA that released a little bit ago last year, and the third season, which actually just finished airing a little bit ago as well. This was last season was the third season.
Yep, less than a month ago.
As a whole. We talked about Hibike Euphonium before, and it's pretty much largely more of the same. Like, if you already liked Hibike Euphonium, you're gonna probably mostly like the third season and whatnot. It's largely the same. There are some changes here and there, but the kind of changes in line with what the show is.
Yeah.
So if you already enjoyed it, you're probably going to enjoy this. And also, yes, if you're kind of upset at it for,
they don't fix it.
No, they didn't change it. They didn't make any major changes or anything.
They didn't fix that issue. I wish they
The only thing
did.
I would say argue is they kind of toned it down compared to the previous seasons a bit. But
still there enough to make me mad that it isn't fully there.
Yeah, so it is. Hibike Euphonium is what it is.
Yes,
for better or for worse, and a really enjoyable concert band anime wrapped with an unfortunate Yuri bait nonsense that's slapped onto it as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, as a
Spoiler
whole,
time.
Yeah. So as a whole, let's see, starting off with the OVA, I guess, because that's first. The OVA takes place, I guess, partway through their second towards the end of like Kumiko and Reina's second year, because once again they're starring it is Kumiko Omae, the euphonium player, Doot, and Reina Kosaka, the trumpet player, and they're basically, the band is kind of subdividing into different ensembles to compete in a contest. They're gonna all compete with each other, so they can go to this contest and see if who can win that. And they all have different groups and whatnot, and Reina and Kumiko are part of an 8-person ensemble and whatnot, and there's duets and trios and so on and so forth.
A group full of clarinets, which is a horrible idea.
Yeah, horrifying, right? And that's pretty much it. There's really not a whole lot. Actually, the OVA is actually pretty light.
It is.
I'm surprised they actually went ahead and released that theatrically, considering what it is. The only thing is, you just kind of see the initial Kumiko getting used to the fact she's now club president.
Yep. What's all these new responsibilities? Oh no.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Now she's having to actually weigh that. Now it's now part of her decision making process, including like the third years are still technically there at this point, but they're kind of not in the club anymore because they're kind of at the end of their school stuff. They're focusing on college and their final exams and whatnot. So, but some of them are able to come back in and join in for the stuff because like, we don't have enough people for certain things or whatever. But yeah, beyond that, there's really not much to talk about on that one. There's really not much there as a whole. It's weirdly lightweight.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable for what it is. It's
is.
like, an hour long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the only real thing of note really would be Kumiko and Reina's ensemble group wasn't the one who won the contest.
Aww.
So they didn't get to go compete in the big thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think the groups that did get in won or something, or did well enough. Because there's something about, I remember there's one of the groups that got second because they had two different votes. They had the audience vote and the band vote for who would go, and so basically they would prioritize the band vote.
Yeah.
But one of the groups got like second place in both of them. It's like, oh, that's gotta be infuriating.
Oh, that is. Yeah, I remember that.
You got second place
so close.
And
both times.
Otherwise the standings are wildly different. Like I remember, if I recall correctly, Kumiko and Reina's group actually got number one with the audience.
Yeah, but what do they know, right?
Yeah, what does the audience know? Yeah. So, but yeah, anyway, Euphonium 3, the season 3 there is actually about their third and final year at high school. Kumiko's president, Shuichi is vice president, and Reina is now the new position of drum major. Now, it used to be vice presidential duty. Now, Reina's is a whole separate thing because apparently the previous two decided that it was probably a good idea to have a third person here.
Drum major has nothing to do with drums, apparently.
Nope. I already knew that, but yeah. So the whole thing
wrong with band people. God,
I could tell you a lot of things wrong with us. So yeah, in the third season here, it's their final chance to get gold at national, right? They haven't done it yet, but that's their final chance to get a gold at nationals. So they're going to go all in on this, right? And they got a whole bunch of new first years and stuff. Some who have played before, some who have no idea what they're doing, but they just kind of find it interesting. And there's also a new transfer student who's a third year, who's also a euphonium player, Maya Kuroe. Yeah, Maya Kuroe, who also also euphonium player, and she
has a fancy euphonium.
She kind of throws things out of whack for Kumiko for a sense.
Yeah, she kind of throws a wrench into things.
Kind of, not trying to do intentionally, just kind of throws the wrench into things because she kind of shakes things up in a unexpected way for Kumiko.
Yes.
But yeah, that's their thing is, well, they're doing this, but also things get shaken up. Particularly because they're changing things, namely rather than a single audition to get into the band, into the ensemble, because limited to size.
Yep.
But the club itself is larger, but also for the solos and solis and whatnot. And the shakeup is, well, they decided to do it multiple times now instead of once. So once per stage.
Yeah, one for every single competition you have to audition again.
There's 3 different stages, although the initial stage is just getting into the first place, and the second 2 stages have, staying in and also the solos and solis.
Yep.
So yeah, not surprising Kumiko gets into the first stage and stuff. And one thing that's actually kind of neat was Hazuki, the tuba player, finally is able to perform. She has not been able to perform up until this point.
Yeah, yep.
That has always been a sticking point for her. She finally gets in. And of course, the underclassman that showed up in the movie, Kanade, initially gets in. Initially. Then they hit the second stage, and Kanade gets cut, and they add an extra tuba player, because there was a whole thing there. One of the tuba players got cut initially. And then Kumiko does not get the soli for the euphonium part to perform, because it's a part with Reina.
Yep.
Reina gets the part, Kumiko doesn't, Mayu does.
And that's the biggest tension point throughout the entire thing.
Yeah, Mayu gets the part.
The soli with Reina, because Reina's basically guaranteed with her skill.
No one's going to question it, really. It's Reina.
She's probably the best musician out of the entire band, period.
Yeah. And of course that's a bit of a thing too, which
is
that actually is a bit of a sticking point, is how Reina's handling her role as drum major is may
Iron
not,
Fist.
yeah, may be a little harsh sometimes.
It's tough love.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's tough love.
And this is the weird thing, which is they get to the second Soli audition, and pretty much everything stays the same, except for this time, Kumiko and Mayu have to do another round of auditioning, just the two of them, because their Taki-sensei cannot decide between the two.
Yep, because they're both so good.
Yeah. Because when you first hear it, the way they present, it's like, oh my God, Kumiko did, and then no, wait, not quite.
Not quite.
Not quite. So they have to do one more audition, and Kumiko actually just to make sure that's fair for the band to vote, and that no one can see who's actually playing.
Yeah, that was actually one thing that I noticed I was kind of pleased to see, is they actually set up a true double-blind test.
Mm-hmm.
The way they did it, both members were sitting behind a curtain,
Mm-hmm.
sitting behind the curtain, and in order to figure out who plays first, they drew cards, but not even Sensei, the Taki-sensei, knew.
No.
Because they blindly drew the cards and kept them to themselves. So then they said, player number 1,
Mm-hmm.
play. Player number 2, play. But no one, not even the teachers, knew who was number 1 and who was number 2.
Yeah. And unfortunately, Kumiko lost that. And
By
Mayu,
one vote.
By one vote. We'll get into that a little bit.
Yes, that's a big one.
Mayu gets the part, and Kumiko has to just deal with it.
Yep.
Anyway, so they're able to get to nationals and win gold, just like they're planning and everything. But and then they graduate, and we get a bit of an epilogue. We'll get into that. I'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, that's pretty much this usual thing, which is doing the competition, going for gold.
Yep.
And
It's the same basic structure.
but this time actually fully succeeding.
Yes, they actually succeeded.
So Mayu, she's a very interesting character, just because she's this weird thing of like she's like Kumiko but not like Kumiko, and we see her the way you were on about her when we were watching.
She was off-putting at first. The way because she was just
so
she was
convinced.
an enigma. Well, I wasn't convinced that she was a bad person, but she had this the way I can try to describe it. It's like a weird off-putting enigma. She had this really weird attitude about things. And obviously it was the writers being cagey about things on purpose just to try and keep an air of mystery about her and her goals, just to try and, because it works. That's the point. It works.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad thing at all. But yeah, this whole, like, she's constantly kind of bringing up these rather weird pointed questions and has this kind of somewhat distant attitude towards things at times. It almost felt like she was intended as as more of an antagonist. It turns out that's not the case, but it seems like that was the way it was being played up, and it just get this really weird feeling about her at the time. It did work out pretty well in the end. I do like how they handled it with her actual explanation.
Yeah. Because initially she was all very much like, I'm not really sure I want to do this whole audition thing. She's like pushing Kumiko to tell her to like let her drop.
Yeah.
Kumiko's like, no, that's not how we do things around here.
We're meritocracy.
We're meritocracy. You need to audition. And Mayus is like, are you sure? I can just drop out. I don't want to basically saying stuff. I don't want to upset people.
Yeah.
By, and stuff. To the point, and that was one of the things I remember you brought it up, and they actually brought it up in the show, which is, are you just that arrogant? You think you're going to win?
Yeah. Yeah. But you also get it from her perspective. She's just,
eventually.
she just shows she's a transfer student. She's never been there. She's not part of the group. And for her to just come in and take someone else's part who's been there for a while. And that's a key point, because that's literally what some of the other characters did in the first season.
Yeah. Guys, what was the thing?
Reina,
we find out,
for example.
finally Kumiko and Mayu finally talk a lot at length about this sort of thing. It turns out, what happened was at her previous school, Mayu had a friend who's also a Euphonium player who kept not getting the parts, and Mayu kept getting the parts, and so the friend didn't, and the friend kept insisting she was fine, and then she just quit the band and kind of stopped talking. Yeah, she wasn't fine with it at all. But yeah, so she's worried about, basically, hurting people if, because she doesn't like this whole idea of hurting people, but at the same time, she doesn't want to admit it. She wanted someone else to tell her it was okay.
Yeah.
Deep down, she still wanted to do it.
Yep. And that was the point that Kumiko finally picked up on and confronted her with, like, yeah, I can see this. Once you actually audition, you can't not do your best. You have to do it because you're that kind of a musician. You're going to do your best because you do enjoy the music. But it was really good writing on that one, on her being a counter to Kumiko's thing, because if you remember from the earlier seasons, the band was basically falling apart from almost the opposite.
Yeah.
The whole idea was that everyone, the seniors all got their parts guaranteed because, they're the seniors, they've been here longer, they deserve it.
Yep.
And she was trying to do the opposite and trying to not let that happen. And yeah.
Yeah, it's actually interesting about that the season, there's two major things that's happened this season, which are almost remixes of what happened in the first two seasons. Because, you got that whole thing with the whole meritocracy versus seniority thing.
Yep.
And which technically, in a weird sense, Kumiko technically has seniority because she's been there longer, even though they're both third years.
Yeah, but she's been there all 3 years.
And she's the president.
And she's the president.
Which means she
Mayu's
deserves it, right?
Yeah.
It was like with Reina and the trumpet player from season 1, where it's like Reina comes in, gets the solo, and people are mad because, the third year deserves it because she's 30 years, her last chance.
Yep.
So how dare this first year come in, but everyone had to admit that Reina was better eventually.
Exactly.
And the other thing, which is in season 2, we had the thing where not season 2, it was actually the movie, the second year, with Natsuki and Yuki being the vice president. Remember, they eventually had that just utter screaming match.
Yep. They referenced that too.
Because they're just disagreeing how to handle things and whatnot. And we see that Kumiko and Reina actually, for the first time, fight about how to handle things because, Reina's all in on whatever Taki Sensei, because of course. But Kumiko's like, maybe he's wrong?
Yeah.
It's interesting about that scene is actually Reina just went straight to you're a failure as a president. Because Reina can be vicious.
Reina's blunt. Reina's just not as much as Kanade. Kanade's blunt. she has zero tact. Yeah. She'll just say what she thinks, which in this season usually comes out to be a good thing because I think she's resolved her issues from beforehand.
Yeah.
But yeah, Reina just she knows what she wants, and that's what she's gonna say.
What's interesting there is when they had that fight. There's a bit earlier because it's Shuichi, Kumiko, and Reina are having the discussion as the executive council, and at one Reina and Shuichi in particular are arguing over it, and and of course Kumiko's like, and so what do you think, Kumiko? And she's like, trying to be the balancing thing and trying to, and you could see Reina's just utter shock when she realizes Kumiko doesn't just straight up agree with her. Outright agree with her. I almost feel like maybe I'm reading too much of that. Reina's actually starting to have the doubt a little bit about Taki, and she wanted Kumiko to reinforce that no, you're right. But when Kumiko didn't, that did not help with her little bit of doubt that she had. Maybe Taki, maybe it is the cognitive dissonance in her head, which is her unwavering loyalty to Taki, but also her creeping but maybe
but
he's wrong though. But what if
might be reading a little bit too much into it, but I get it.
There's a bit in there. It almost feels like that's what she wanted was Kumiko to just reinforce, back her up,
yeah. And unfortunately, Kumiko's going through this. I have to keep the peace with everything because I don't want what happened before to happen again.
Wednesday looks happening again.
But the band is disagreeing and falling apart.
Yep. And on top of that, the executive council can't agree either, and that's not good.
Yep.
And they're having that fight, and they're basically, the president and the major are fighting, and that's never happened before.
Yeah. Put a bunch of hormonal teenagers together in charge of a group. What's going to happen? Things are going to get emotional and messy.
Yep. Yeah, it's just kind of shocking for both of them how they're just realizing that it's that realization that both are fighting for the first time over this because Kumiko genuinely believes Reina's being too harsh, and Reina has the whole thing. Well, if they don't like it, tough luck.
Yeah, it's and it makes sense from her perspective. We're trying to win in the hardest competition. We have to do this.
Yep.
If we don't, we will lose.
And Kumiko's like, well,
you voted for this because that's another big one.
Yeah, we voted to do it like this.
Yeah,
but
you
also
said you wanted to win. This is how we win.
But also on top of that, but Kumiko's also realizing that well, we're not going to win as long as people are upset.
Yeah, if we're breaking the band apart.
The band's falling apart. We're not going to win because we're going to play like garbage if we're not in sync. And we're not in sync and we can't just go pushing forward and say, no, we just got to keep pushing forward as hard as we can. Isn't going to work either.
Yep.
It's like when it's like, oh, guess what? They both have points.
Yep. That's why you have multiple leaders. So that you can have those different perspectives. You can have we need to practice hard in order to win, but you can have someone go, yes, but we don't want to kill our bandmates in the process.
If they die, they die.
If they die, the band dies. Yeah, so you have to have someone get there to mediate. Oh, and which one was it amongst the first years it was holding on so strong? Even through that Kumiko ended up having a sit down at the shrine.
Yeah, it was...
which one was that? Because that was another big point. Because that was during that whole Reina's reign.
Is that Sari? Because I remember one of them's like, she looks a lot... I was like, I keep looking at her and goes, she looks a lot like Reina, actually. I think it's Sari Yoshi. Yeah, she's the first year.
It was one of the first years who was really trying to keep all the other first years in the band.
I mean, also, an interesting thing was at one point, Kumiko actually ran off and got, hey, guess who? She went for advice for Asuka, who's living with Kaori. Anyway, Asuka gives her advice in her very Asuka way, which is to be a kind of a dickhead to Kumiko. That's what Asuka did, and it worked.
Yep, it worked.
I guess, although still, it's like, Asuka, come on.
Asuka, come on.
Yeah, which is basically telling Kumiko, just say what's on your mind.
Yep.
You're good at that. Do that.
You're good at that. Yeah.
You're trying not to. You need to do that, though. And she does, and it finally works.
It does, yeah.
It repairs things, just for speaking her mind.
Yep. And the culmination of that, well, after the final Soli audition.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, that audition.
Yeah, so the whole thing about the audition there, it's like, okay, the double blind thing, which is absolutely interesting, is how Kumiko recognized that if it's not blind, a lot of people are going to vote for her regardless.
Yep.
So you realize that very quickly, that if everyone knew who was playing, they're going to vote for Kumiko just because she deserves it.
She deserves it, and she wanted to try and preempt that.
You can see how upset everyone was when she lost. A lot of people wanted Kumiko to get the part, period, and she knew it would have been unfair.
Yep. And she knew they had to be the one to make the vote.
The thing was, when everyone voted, it was tied until Reina pointed out, finally, I haven't voted.
Yep, because she was playing the other part on stage with them.
Because that's what's needed for it. Because
it's a soli, not a solo. It's a soli.
There's a thing which really it's kind of frustrating in the way, which is Reina, because she knows. I was like watching this. She has to know.
She has to know,
and she did. She know which one was Kumiko and which one was Mayu, because she knows Kumiko's sound. But she voted for Mayu because technically Mayu was just slightly better.
Yep.
And Kumiko even realized that at the point, which is I was hesitant. I hesitated too many times because just all this.
Because she's dealing with all of it. Yeah.
So Reina and then they do their thing, go up the mountain, and that's when they finally Kumiko, after all this, finally has her breakdown when she finally is honest about how she hates it.
And that was when Reina said, "Do you think I didn't know your sound after all we've played together? You think I wouldn't know?" And she admitted that I knew it was you, and I voted otherwise. Because the thing it's Reina, and Reina cannot vote just based off of vibes. She has to vote.
She knew that. We actually see she was hesitating.
She did, but she still had to vote.
I know,
for the
but here's the thing.
Because
like she knew what she and Kumiko both wanted was to play together at nationals. That's what she knew this, and her hesitation was her struggling to actually not do that.
Yep.
She wanted to do it so bad.
Massive test on Reina, and I think she's of everyone else in the band, she's the only one who could have passed that test and voted purely on skill.
And on top of that, that's what Kumiko, she knew deep down that Kumiko would know she got a pity vote from Reina.
Yes. And that's a big one.
Reina knew that if she voted for Kumiko, that Kumiko would know why.
Yep.
Because Kumiko's that good.
Yeah.
So she knew full well to preserve their friendship that she'd have to do it that way.
Yeah, even though it's
weirdly contradictory as that sounds.
God. Yeah. And there's so many good points that come up with this. The other big subject point that really comes through, especially with that final conversation, and Kumiko has her final breakdown, is it is perfectly okay to be really upset about the final outcome of something like this, even when you know the outcome that happened is the correct one. You can still be upset with it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Also, they did some stuff which is mirroring what happened in season 1 with kind of drawing the finger down the face thing, which, like, Jesus, guys.
Oh my God! Like they toned it down, but not so much that they shouldn't have kept.
Yeah, but the other thing was interesting was about I saw someone pointed out, which is Reina had to, when she's making that choice, Reina had to sacrifice the perfect performance for a flawless performance.
Yeah,
because perfect would have been they get to perform
they got
together.
Gold, but not. They wouldn't have gotten gold.
Yeah, but perfect would have been the end cap if they get to play together like they planned and everything. That would be perfect. Narratively and everything. That's one of the things. Is I will say this, it's kind of gutsy, kind of lots of chutzpah to actually have the penultimate episode have something that disappoints literally everyone.
Yep.
I mean, think about it, because Reina's upset, Kumiko's upset, the band's upset, Mayu even is a bit upset.
Yep.
And of course the audience is upset because that's not narratively satisfying. We're supposed to see a big build up to Kumiko succeeding,
this
right?
This is the end. Everyone has to end on a happy note.
It's supposed to be Kumiko works hard and she gets the thing she wanted. But no.
She doesn't.
And then the final episode winds up being their big, we actually get the performance.
Yep, we got the full performance.
And they won gold and everything. And yeah, it works. It's like to actually have the guts to do something so narratively discordious like that. Yeah. And then stick the landing. That was, man.
Yeah, they took a risk and it worked.
Yeah.
I think it worked really, really well.
It's like, I know a lot of people are really upset about it. I saw a lot of people are really mad about it.
Yeah.
Because it's true. It's not narratively satisfying. It doesn't fulfill the contract, so to speak.
Yeah, where everyone's happy and gets what they want in the end.
And yet they managed to stick the landing.
And honestly, that was the point. Yeah. They said it many times throughout the entire anime. The entire point is to get gold at the Nationals. And that's what it took.
Yeah, so there's that whole thing. But, man.
Yeah.
There's
they still should have made it more gay.
Yeah, they should have. Some interesting things on that front. I guess on the shipping front, there was the Sapphire and what's his name? I can't remember. Motomo.
Oh yeah, that one.
Motomo had a whole thing with his grandfather is a teacher at a different school, and he transferred here, and there's a whole. He had some unresolved crap that he had to deal with, and they're able to deal with it. There's also a thing where they're at their little training camp, and there's something happened between the two. They didn't say what happened, but you can kind of infer what happened between Sapphire and Motomu. Which is someone confessed and was rejected. We don't know who.
We don't know. My theory on that one, especially with what we learned about Motomu beforehand, was that I'm wondering if Sapphire confessed.
Yeah.
And Motomu shot her down because we learned that Motomu likes Sapphire because she reminds him of his sister.
Yeah.
And that may have been the...
Yeah.
I'm not into that.
Yeah, I don't know, but regardless, they don't give us all the details at all. We just know that they both kind of want to be alone. They're both sad.
Yeah.
After they just talk to each other.
Yeah, not like super crying sad, 'cause she was still smiling, but like you could tell it was kind of forced, and it was you could tell she was disappointed in the results of the conversation they had.
Yeah.
But she wasn't breaking down and whatnot.
Yeah,
and they were talking and smiling with each other at the end anyway.
Yeah. They all turned out well in the end, I guess.
It all turned out well in the end. They weren't like on bad terms afterwards.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Yeah, it's more of the stuff. Like, there's a whole bit with also Kumiko got invited to a performance from Mizori. Yeah, the oboe player.
Yeah,
from Liz and the Bluebird, particularly. Yeah, and it's just interesting. She met up with Nozomi and Natsuki and Yuko. And it's just so funny. It's like they're all dressed up, dresses, except for Natsuki, who's in a suit. It's like, living to her title, lesbian queen, I guess.
Yep.
Because who shows up in a purple suit?
She does. And she's right to do so.
Yeah, there's a lot of people basically, because particularly her and Yuko have their whole actual like rock band, punk band they're doing. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
They're doing that, aren't they? That's an actual canon thing, not just something someone made up for fanfic. Forgot. But yeah, Kumiko and Reina. Dang it.
God.
So there's that one line where it's like Kumiko just calls Reina her special person. I was like, what am I supposed to do with this?
He's like,
what am I supposed to do with this? This is not straight. What are you
there
doing?
is no
You
heterosexual
did the face
explanation.
thing again. You did.
Yeah, there is no heterosexual explanation for this.
But of course, they keep doubling down with Reina talking about how she's totally going to marry Taki Sensei one day. Even if he's an old man by the time she can or something. It's like, I don't know. I still interpret that as some very, very aggressive compact.
You already got rejected once.
Twice.
She
confessed twice and got shot down both times.
Taki's hung up on someone already.
Yeah, his dead wife.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not stepping into that.
Yeah, Kumiko's all like, I'm going to support you, I guess, even though it's kind of odd, but sure. And again, the thing with Shuichi, it's like we're supposed to believe Kumiko and Shuichi are a thing, and it's
They're
like
so antagonistic to each other.
And again, with no, he's not antagonistic. But
no, she is. She's just cold shoulder to him all the
every
time.
Even after they dated and broke up, she's just like, her reaction to him is often disgust or annoyance.
Yeah,
it's like, and we're supposed to just believe that she'll just learn to love him. Because that's the thing is they had the epilogue, which after the credits of the final episode we see we get some Kumiko kind of narrating over Reina's still in America, because that was the thing, that was a big thing, was Reina was in America and Reina's actually kind of afraid of her and Kumiko kind of getting distant with each other again and the whole come on guys. Yeah. But because Reina had absolutely had plans to go to America, and that was another big subplot, was Kumiko was struggling with what she wanted to do with her life, because it's totally fair for you to just kind of tell 18-year-olds you map out your whole life immediately, right now before you even get out of high school, but hey,
that's just what you do over there, right?
You're
expected to.
So Kumiko was struggling with, I don't even know what college I want to go to, I don't know what I want to do, I don't know what, and she, other than eventually she goes, I don't want to go to a music college, because Reina is at first like, are you sure?
Yeah, and everyone expects her to. It's like, well, you're really good at music. You should keep doing it.
It was interesting because she had the thing where she found out a meeting with the advisor, the what's her face? The
the really
stern lady who
hard-nosed one.
Yeah, and if you don't see what was on the paper, but she does go, yeah, I suspect you to do this.
Yeah,
so we don't get to see what
there
it
was
is
one
yet.
line at the end where it really said, that's what she's doing. I kind of expected it right near the beginning when she was working with the other bandmates, and she was really good at it.
Yeah, you kind of get little hints there, which is just kind of, she's really good at this whole, working with other people,
guiding them and showing them how to,
yeah. So then we see her walking. They figured out, she's now assistant advisor to the band.
Yep, she's a teacher
Kitauji.
Basically.
Yeah, she's basically a teacher now and whatnot. So makes sense for. We see her there. The thing is about that, which is a little frustrating.
Michi. Yeah, that's who it is.
They don't make any sort of super hard confirmed thing with her and Shuichi, which is good, I guess. But that means you can fix in your fanfics.
Yeah.
But there's one little problem, which is on her notebook when she puts it down in the lectern. The hair clip, the stupid hair clip that Shuichi gave her, because the whole thing was like she gave it back to him when they broke up, saying that to give it to her again when if they might start dating. It's like, grr.
Ew.
Yeah, ew. That's the only thing. Otherwise, it's just like, there's not really much of anything. It's ambiguous enough that you can kind of get with it, and you could invent scenarios. I've seen at least 3 different people try to explain that hair clip away in some way, shape, or form.
A lot of things can happen in a few years.
Yeah, a lot of things could. It's a degree of time in the future that she's clearly graduated college, at least 4 or 5 years in the future.
Yeah.
We don't know how much further in the future, but yeah.
Maybe that's enough time for them to both figure themselves out, and Reina to come back and realize that she isn't as hung up on.
Again, the one
right?
epilogue thing is, Reina's still in America.
Yeah, there's plenty of time that the separation makes her finally come to her senses and realize that Kumiko was right for the whole time.
There, but yeah, so there's enough ambiguity you could work with it, but it's not as ambiguous as I'd like. If you're not gonna go all in on the Kumiko Reina thing, which clearly everybody wanted, to the point of I saw people openly just wishing for them to just deviate from the source material again and say, screw it, Kumiko and Reina are gonna get together.
Yeah,
but they do not. And at best, the best we got, probably the single best thing we were going to get, which is a fairly ambiguous ending on that front. I did see a couple of people start shipping Kumiko and Mayu, though.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I saw one which is basically Maya gets a crush on Kumiko, then sees Rain and goes, "Oh yeah, never mind." It's not gonna work. It's like, oh yeah, those two. No, I'm not. I have no chance.
Yeah.
There's no chance for me.
Yeah.
Beyond that, yeah, there's a couple. Yeah, some of the first years that showed up. Suzume, who's a younger. There's a Tsubame who didn't really do much until the OVA. She's a percussionist. She wasn't really much until the OVA, and then she gets, I guess, supposedly for set up for this because hey, her little sister shows up, starts playing tuba, and then there's a girl who likes to wear little the bandanas.
Oh yeah,
Yayoi.
that
Yayoi.
trio of first years that like to hang out together.
There's a couple first years they have their thing going on. Oh, Mamiko, Kumiko's older sister, shows up and helps her out a little bit because she's chilled out now. They're not each other's throats anymore because that thing is your siblings. Sometimes siblings get older and eventually you stop fighting so much.
Yeah, it's called maturity.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes
though you get like my dad, who he sees his brother again and starts acting like he's 8 years old again, which was just hilarious when seeing your your middle-aged dad fighting with his brother like he's 8. But hey. It's always a weird, funny thing to see. But anyway,
my brother's dad's on the other side of the country. They hate each other.
That's my brother's dad, except they wound up signing each other because we went to Tennessee. We went down to Tennessee where he lives, and so I got to see it.
Of course, in freaking Baltimore.
Yeah, what's interesting here is Asuka. When she was talking to Kumiko, she also kind of said something about, kind of a lover's quarrel between Kumiko and Reina, which, she's kind of somewhat joking, although I'm not sure she was actually entirely joking because it was Asuka.
Everyone sees it.
Oh, it's weird, though.
Except for them.
Well, that's the thing. Well, everyone else was like, oh, are you and Shuichi dating? No. Because everyone just assumes her and Shuichi are dating. It's like, again, it's that weird thing. I want to bring it back up, but Asuka's actually said something about that. It's like, the way the series is, like, basically the series is always like, Asuka's always right. So if Asuka is assuming that they should be dating, then, well, if she's right, therefore, it's correct that Kumiko and Reina date, right? Yeah.
Yep.
But that's the whole thing where a lot of people keep bringing up, like, particularly the first years are like, oh, are Kumiko and Shuichi dating? And it's just, to me, it's this frustrating thing is, again, that stupid thing you see in media, which is a guy and a girl who were childhood friends, they are close to each other, so clearly they must fall in love with each other because that's how it always works.
Clearly.
You have to, even though we see Kumiko just has there's nothing on Kumiko's side that shows that she's interested in Shuichi in the slightest, and yet we're supposed to just, it's a thing of like, well, Shuichi deserves to have her as a girlfriend because he's a nice person and he likes her, so he just deserves to get her, right? Right?
Nice guys always win.
Yeah, he's supposed to get her as a girlfriend because he's a nice person and, well, he didn't do anything bad and, well, he's shown that he's in love with her, so she's supposed to just go with it. And it's like, no, if she doesn't feel that way about him, it doesn't matter what he deserves or not, quote unquote deserves.
Yep.
It just, if she's not interested, it's this weird thing of just like, no, just kind of just go with it just because everyone expects you to, and that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to fall in love with the boy who has feelings for you because, I don't know, you're not supposed to have agency.
No,
you're a woman.
That's literally it. You just hit the nail on the head. I was getting to it, patriarchy, if you want to throw that term out there. Because there's such a big cultural thing across the entire world of, the man of the house, and it's always the men make the decisions, and your goal as a woman is just to find someone who will take care of you, and
turn out
you're
babies.
set, and that's it. And so many people are just so indoctrinated by that. Yeah. Even there's so many women who just believe that that's how it should be, and it's just like,
It's the tried wives.
Yeah. It's such a thing, and it's
so weird because there's like no chemistry there whatsoever. Like that's the thing. It's one of those things. Like even ignoring Kumiko and Reina, it's just zero chemistry between Kumiko and Shuichi. And I'm pretty sure we're relitigating stuff we talked about last time.
Probably.
But like there's so nothing there. And it's like so weird to me. And it's like, considering how Kumiko and Reina is supposed to be platonic. And it's like, I'm just looking, it's like, again, it's that I don't want to assign labels to you, but are you sure your relationships with other women were entirely platonic and you just didn't get it? It's one of those things you sit there wondering. It's like, are you 100% certain that was a platonic relationship?
But it has to be, because women can't love other women.
Girls can't love girls.
Girls can't love other girls. That's impossible.
That's forbidden love.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's the kind of the thing there. It's just so frustrating because you see these two, like, Kumiko and Reina, just click.
Yep.
And it's just frustrating when you're just like, no, but Shuichi, though.
They're such good pals.
Mm-hmm.
They're such good pals. Shuichi's just there in the background every now and then.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Oh, you're dating." It's like, it feels like someone's putting that in there, like, no, they have to be, right? Just don't forget about him. It's like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
All I know is Reina and Kumiko should kiss, and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, when you have even the VAs are like, yeah, they should kiss.
Yeah, they should.
VAs are like, yeah, those two should be together.
Yeah, it's so obvious to like everyone, but a lot of the characters in it. It's just like,
Yeah, of course.
That's like the one thing I could say that would make it better.
I'm just sitting there like, how could anybody actually think that Kumiko and Shichi have good chemistry? Like, how can you look at them and go, oh, it's good chemistry? It's just because that's just what you expect. Is that what your relationship look like? Hey guys, is that what your relationships look like? Because you have to wonder about that.
Possibly. Some people end up believing some of the weirdest things just because they've never questioned their beliefs.
Yeah. Regardless, once again, it was done by Kyoto Animation, of course, because of that. It is beautiful. There's a lot of attention to detail to
beautiful.
The instruments. There's actually some interesting stuff because there's a bit where they showed a bit of montage of old scenes. It's like, man, they actually improved the CG in this scene. That's for sure. That old CG was, you could see that weird, like, the stuff didn't quite move in sync correctly.
Oh, yeah.
The camera's moving, the character's moving, and so
parallax is slightly off.
It's all slightly off, so you can tell that's, but this time it's like, this season's a lot better. Of course, a lot of attention to detail on the instruments and whatnot. The music, of course, it's good because, I mean, it better be. Apparently the band performance here was actually performed by a college band.
Interesting.
Yeah, that makes sense because
you know how high school bands sound a lot of time.
Depending, yeah. So yeah, it's all good on there. And of course, yeah, the usual VAs and stuff. Tomoyo Kurosawa being Kumiko again.
Yep.
Hey, look, she's Naomi in Metallic Rouge, and she's Tsuki in Love Live, and.
Yeah, the question would be like the new characters that showed up in this one.
There's one of those one again. Reina's played by Chika Anzai, who's also.
Oh hey, the VA for.
Oh, she's in Whispering You a Love Song. Whispering You a Love Song. The Yuri anime that almost was. Oh, she's Sato in Licorice. The other thing where we're saying, oh please actually get together, please. Don't hurt me again. But Mayu is from Karuka Tomatsu. Oh, M4A1 Adults Frontline. Girls Frontline. Yeah, Yokai. Oh, she's in Yokai Watch. Okay. I'm trying to find, is there anything?
Yeah, I was looking at...
Sword Art. Ugh. Oh, hey. She's the girl in Railgun T with the water. Did the water thing.
The water thing.
She's her. That was her. Okay. That's someone we know.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, that's Pipami. Of course, there's Pipami. Persona 5.
There's so many that have done Pipami at this point.
It's like you just expect a Pipami at some point.
At some point, there's a Pipami in there.
Yeah. Oh, she's 02.
I've heard from some people that character is, because that's from that Darling in the Franxx, isn't it? I've heard that's one of those characters that you want to rescue from the franchise.
I see.
Why are you stuck in this horrible franchise?
Oh, she's Raikou in Freight Grand Order. Oh, she was Haruka and Sakura Trick.
Oh.
I think that's probably why I've seen this list before.
Possibly. Yeah, I was looking at Suzume, one of the first years.
Yeah, Suzume.
They won the first audition, even though she wasn't very good. Because she had amazing tone.
Yeah.
She was Idolmaster.
and Magia Record.
And Magia, yep. So the first thing I see is Idolmaster. It's like, oh, you went from one music thing to another music thing.
Idly Pride.
Yep. More music things.
Yep, lots of music things. Oh, I know what that is. Okay. That's that Interviews with Monster Girls. I remember that. Kaho Hariha. That's Momoka Terasawa.
A recreation.
Not a lot.
Yep.
She was Dungeon Meshi, but yeah, she was in very few things. Sari Yoshi's Emery Suyama. She was in she's Onimai.
Oh, which one was this one?
Emery Suyama, who's she played Sari. One of the other new first years.
Yeah.
She's an Onimai as a minor character.
Yeah, an Onimai minor character.
Yeah, she hasn't done a whole lot either. Yeah, these are for relatively new character, relatively new.
Yeah, 2018.
Yeah, Yayoi is Ayane Matsuda. Yayoi. He also has barely done anything.
So they got some new talent in there.
Yeah,
is what it looks like, which is nice. It's always nice to see new talent.
Ririka. That's what she's one of Ririka. She got the thing on her head, the bun thing. Shiori Sugiura. Oh, she was in the gushing over magical girls. And not much. Yeah, she doesn't do a whole lot either. Okay. Yep. So
it was really good, but could have been gayer.
Yeah, it should have been gayer.
That's what pretty much what I think I can sum it up as.
Again, it's the thing of the concert band stuff is really good, really accurate despite the cultural differences.
Yeah.
And
everything but the romantic relationship between the executive council.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else I can say was just on par. The pacing, the writing, the relationships, the dialogue, the just all of it, the characterization.
I know some people did not like the ending, but I can understand why. Because
the ambiguity.
Well, not just the ambiguity, but I'm talking about with Kumiko and not getting the Soli.
Oh yeah, not getting the Soli. I think it was a risk that paid off.
Yeah. So there's also apparently some side story stuff from the Blu-rays, but I saw some of it. It's not fully animated. It's kind of there's one frame every few seconds type of things.
Yeah, one of those things.
So it's and they're very short. It looks like nothing really special to. I was like worried for a second. I was like, oh, is there actually more stuff that we're not going to be able to talk about? But yeah. So yeah, that's as far as I can tell, that is all of Hibike Euphonium. So we have now covered that in its entirety. There is nothing left unless they actually add to the story with stuff that was not in the light novels.
Yeah.
That's it.
A post-sequel where Rena comes back and realizes her mistake.
If only. I don't think the author's going to do that.
No, it's never going to happen.
It'd be great, but it's not going to probably happen. Or that's kind of Kyoto gets the full, that green light, just do what they want.
Yep.
Getting in Kyoto's not exactly always on the, always like, they don't all exactly like to not bait themselves.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it for this one, I guess. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hope all that stuff. If you did, you could find us at newtoweeaboo.libsyn.com. That's spelled LIBSYN. Subscribe to the RSS feed there, and if you want, or go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or Amazon Podcasts, and search for New to Weeaboo and subscribe, or click the buttons at the top of the page and whatnot. If you want to contact us, you do so via email, newtoweeaboo@gmail.com. If you have questions or comments or anime recommendations, what have you. You can also contact us on various social media, newtoweeaboo.libsyn.com/contact. Our social media is right there, so you can pick your favorite one and use that. Yeah, that's it for this one. We've now kind of done our 2 wrap-up, the what's out there so far episodes for this month. Because we did Railgun T, the thing we did a long time ago, and came back, and then we did Hibike Euphonium, the thing where it's like, oh, let's not let that happen again. We need to watch that.
Yep.
We got it done immediately. So next time, a couple things. One, we will actually not be coming back for 2 weeks. We'll be coming back in 3 weeks just because I've got some stuff I got to take care of, and it's going to take up some of my time, so I'm not going to be able to commit to anything with this. And you just had some major life-shaking stuff going on.
Oh my God. And it's still going on.
Yeah. You gotta get
multiple
used to
massive life-changing situations happening all at once.
We won't be coming back till about mid-August, but we'll be talking about summer 2024 anime. We're doing the thing of picking 4 at random and all that. We're gonna be doing that. Yes, it's gonna be late by the time we talk about it. A lot of these things are gonna be like episodes 6, 7, and 8, but that's just how the schedule shook out.
Yeah,
but we'll be looking for, because definitely there's several interesting things coming out this month, this season, that I really want to look at, and hopefully at least one of them gets on the list without me having to choose. So then I can watch 2 of them. Because I'm also worried, because apparently it's been a minefield, because there's a lot of isekai, unusually high amount of isekai this season too. And also weirdly high amount of romance. So it's like either romance or isekai, or both.
Commonly, isekai's got a lot of romance just simply because how many isekais are harems. Yeah.
In the quotations, heavy quotation marks.
Yeah. It's just so many isekais turn into harems, and it's just
So yeah, Hope you tune in next time. And keep yourself keep yourself hydrated.
Yes.
Drink your water.
Drink your water.
So yeah, we'll see you then.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Bye.